Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku, back with another video to give some interesting but very, very upsetting news, if it's the case. Black Clover on Crunchyroll's Twitter account, they put out a thing. Now, Crunchyroll is like the joint license holder between Funimation. They had a deal back when they were partners about, like, I think it was 3 years ago now, or maybe 4. I don't remember. It's been a long time now. Let's just put it that way. So Black Clover started. I think it was 3 years ago, but Black Clover dub started with Funimation after the agreement that Crunchyroll was going to have with them. Of course, they eventually broke away, but with Black Clover, they still remained the partnership license holder between Crunchyroll and Funimation. So they still kind of had that going on. Funimation continued to put out the dub of it. Crunchyroll put out the sub version of it from what the Japanese were getting. And they basically had their own schedules on when the episodes were being released and whatnot. So there was that whole stuff going on. So they did this, and Black Clover was doing very well. It was very well received in Japan. It was doing pretty good up here in the States as well. But now it appears that it's going to be ending. Now, there are a lot of people that are saying, from what Crunchyroll released, that's saying that the final episode, which it's right in there, the final episode will be ending, again, right now in the sub version, which is episode 170. Currently, I believe we are in episode 144 for the English dub at this time, which is still pretty good. Consider all things considered. I think we're only 15 episodes or so behind them, which until the pandemic, we were only like 3 episodes behind the Japanese version typically. And there was only an occasional 1 week break, whether it was from the Japanese side or if it may have been for the dubbing side of it, if someone got sick or something like that. But typically, the anime for Black Clover the dub was pretty much put out very quickly, all things considered, which is pretty refreshing because it was not something that I was used to, especially for an anime title. It definitely was a really treat getting to know that I was going to always get to see an anime every week, of something, and you could just keep investing into it. It was really, really interesting to go about it in that approach, because there was no breaks for Black Clover, pretty much no majority breaks other than the pandemic, which everyone had breaks because of the pandemic. So Black Clover was pretty consistent, and then it was definitely highly and entertaining and a really good show that I'm really enjoying still right now as watching the dub, because I believe we're currently on the episode 144. We just got them training, obviously. We're in the point where they just got Nero just got captured by the these people that want to kill the devil, before the scale people can do it, right? Legally. So as we're basically at, but we're not that far behind the sub version, all things considered, even though we're a little much more behind on average of where Black Clover has been at. We haven't been there just as much, just a little bit more than what we normally have for the average. But this is typical for an anime, that it would be this off because of all the breaks and stuff like that normally happen in between seasons. Now, some people are saying that this is a possibility of them just taking a break because the manga is close to being finished, or it's close to being to where they're at right now, and they don't want to have filler arcs. This is what some of the fans are suggesting. However, the article doesn't actually state that. And while it is absolutely possible that this is the case for Black Clover, that they could be just, taking a year or two break so the manga can catch up, or the manga can get further down, so they don't have to do, a filler arc. Personally, a filler arc would be pretty good if it's done right. You have the Garlic Jr. arc, you got the, the Otherworld tournament. Filler arcs can be successful if they're done right, and add something to the story that we might not know about, that the manga may have never addressed or never got a chance to address. There are some times where you get those things with filler arcs. So filler arcs are good. The problem with filler stuff is padding episodes. That's the biggest issue with filler, is pad episodes, where you're basically making the episode longer than it actually is. That happened a lot with Z. A lot of people don't seem to like that. But filler episodes, if they're done right, can be very, very good. So I'd be kind of disappointed if they didn't want to do a filler arc. Just not do it, because again, filler arcs can be really done good if they're padded out correctly. But I don't know. I mean, maybe they are just waiting, but they, like Crunchyroll in their actual article, say final episode. They don't say, oh, this is the season finale, or this is, them taking a break. There isn't any evidence that suggests this, unless they come out later and clarify that. But there is no actual guarantee that this is going to come back 2 years from now or whenever, which kind of sucks, because if they are ending it this way, and they're not bringing back the anime and the manga still going on, that's really kind of a shame, because again, the show is doing really good and it's been well received by a lot of people. Not to mention, it's doing very well for itself. It's one of the more talked about animes right now. I mean, obviously there's My Hero Academia that's being talked about more, but I mean, Black Clover's been talked about very well in the past couple of years. So I wouldn't understand why they would want to stop it just because of that aspect. But I will say 170 episodes is pretty good, all things considered, for an anime. I know a lot of people think anime should go on for 300 episodes or longer, like One Piece, but that's really not the norm. One Piece obviously being an extreme exception. And then of course Pokemon, but Pokemon's a kid show. But 170 episodes is actually pretty good. Obviously, Black Clover its run was relatively short, but it's mainly short because they never had any season breaks. They basically just continued on with episodes, right through. And that's why the run was short. Typically, a lot of these seasons would be padded out after a couple of months, after a year maybe of a break. Black Clover never did that. They kept coming up with new episodes and new seasons as they went along, and that's also why they were catching up to the source material where the manga was at, too, and that's where you sacrifice that as well too. Again, if this is a case of them just, ending it because they want to have the manga catch up further, that's good, but I wish they would have clarified that in the article, because a lot of people are, either saying that, oh, it's not really the final episode, it's just, it's them, trying to catch up to the manga. And other people are saying it never actually says that in the article. It says it's the final episode, so that means it's the final episode, So I really wish they would have clarified that better. But again, I mean, if you have to go by the clarification of the actual of what Crunchyroll and what the article actually says, it actually says final episode. So if we're going by the actual term, it is the final episode, guys. Maybe they'll rescind that, and later on we'll get an update. And they'll say, yeah, it's gonna come back, but right now it's the final episode, yada yada yada. That could happen later on, but as of right now, this is what's happening, unfortunately. And it sucks because I like Black Clover. I've been heavily enjoying this show. Every week, we've been talking about it, like with some of the people on my Discord have been discussing it. We've been discussing it every time it comes up. It's a really good anime. I didn't know it was going to be a really good anime until I started watching it, but yeah, it's a really good one. And so it's going to end at episode 170. It will be a while before I get there because, again, we're at like 144 right now in the dub, and we only watched the dub here, So it's going to be a little bit longer for me before we get there because we are 15 episodes behind, I think it is, but still, that's still not that much for an anime average. That's actually better than an anime average. Usually, before the pandemic, we were only 3 episodes behind, so typically. So that's not, that bad. The average for Black Clover has been much greater than the average of anime being put out for a dub. So it's been very well good. I think they also, the OVAs too, the special episodes they've dubbed as well, that they've done, those one-off episodes that they've been doing. I am very curious to see how the anime approaches the ending. If this truly is the final episode and that they're not going to come back, if the creator of the manga is still going to continue doing the manga of Black Clover. I am curious if they're going to the manga creator is going to continue on doing it. Because to my understanding, Black Clover has a lot of fan following in Japan, not just here in English, but so it would be really surprising if they're just going to cancel it. I know Bleach had a pretty bad ending with the manga because basically the creator was forced to basically end it quickly with 2 chapters, and then that was it. I don't think that's the case here. So I'm very curious to see how the anime is going to approach the ending, because there's a lot of different ways the anime can go about this. If this truly is the ending of the anime, and this actually is the final episode, and they're not just baiting everybody by saying it's the final episode, and it's going to come back later. Assuming that that's not the case, I could see them doing an actual anime ending that doesn't really consist of what the manga is, especially if the manga is continuing, or they could just leave it up to interpretation and a to be continued scenario where it could then just be basically waiting for the author to basically create more contents, but they didn't clarify that. They were not specific in the article about that. So I have to go by with what the article is saying, and the article says that this is definitively the last episode until they clarify that or retract that and say that no, this is going to just be until the there's more material to adopt. Then I have to take kind of the word here of what Crunchyroll is saying. And that's kind of where it's at. I hope it's not true. I hope they do end up bringing it back sooner, or soon again, and continue doing it once more source material is adopted. But that's where we're at right now with Black Clover. If this is it, we might get, an anime ending. All the, the ship lovers that ship people together will probably get an ending like that with some of these people, because they already kind of hinted at Yami's, at her, at his freaking person that he's in love, or the girl that's in love with her, the freaking, the girl, the freaking, well, she gets, no, not her, not the drunk one, the one with the rose captain. Yeah, she's the one that, like, is gonna get with him. Like, I mean, they've showed it in the theme song, they've, like, shown it multiple different times, like, it's kind of obvious now at this point. I mean, she even kind of admitted already, like, hey, like, multiple times. So Yami's just too dense. Yami's just too dense to realize it, because he just gets drunk all the time and just fights. Like, that's literally all he does. I don't know about the other ones, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if they're just ending it just to end it, like, they might as well just, like, do their own little canonized ships, I guess, at this point. But yeah, maybe we get Asta and Noelle. Oh yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's Asta and Noelle are gonna get together for sure. I mean, it's kind of obvious at this point. Like, I mean, it'd be kind of weird if they didn't at this point. I mean, though, Asta has a lot of other female that are interested in him. Like, I mean, this guy, man, like this guy, man, it's everyone interested. Everyone's literally interested in this guy. Like, this guy is like, this Asta is exactly what everyone wishes that wishes what a guy would get, like, with girls, like, always coming after him like that. Like, oh, like, gee, bro, like, like, what the frig? Naruto wishes that could have happened to him. Naruto, man, he never got anyone. He had to earn that. Like, that's just, I'm just being funny right now, guys. Don't take that seriously. I do think Yuno and Charmy should be together, though. I think that one's actually pretty good. Yeah. Yuno and Charmy, for sure. Yeah, but in terms of the final episodes, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think this is definitively the final episode of the anime at episode 170? Or do you think, and also don't mention any of the spoilers, by the way, because again, I only watched the dub, but of stuff that I haven't seen yet, because we're up to episode 144. But do you guys think this is the definitive final episode, or do you think they're just baiting us until a year from now to put out another anime, to put out more Black Clover, for the manga writer to basically get more source material out there? Do you think, if this is the final episode, do you think they're going to do a fictional ending with everybody? Let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate. If you like this video, please subscribe. Also hit that notification bell for all the latest contents. Discord link in the description as well. And that's about it. I'm the Ultimate Goku, moderate. Peace!